Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Earth, Europe, Asia, America, Middle East, Far East, China, Japan, wherever, Canada, South America. Hello, world, Australia, New Zealand. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. All right, look what we got going on here this morning. You can see the Swiss moving down a little bit, so that's the dollar going down a little bit. You can see it's trying to fight its way up here on the Chicago Quant. Over here on J4X, you see the white line trying to pierce one part of the two lines we follow, but mainly the dotted line is the most important thing of all. Whereas in here, you can see it has already broken the zero line. It's trying to turn up a little bit, which is odd because it's going down. We'll see how that plays itself out. Let's see. I think we were in a sell here, right? Yeah, and then we went. Did we make it into a buy there? Let's see. Then we moved into a buy there. We should put the lines in there just for the sake of it, if nothing else. So we went to the sell there, went back into the buy here. What a vacillation! You can't go into a sell there because we had the green dot and the red dot, and now we are trying to go up. And that is setting up the opportunity for it to be a buy again, which is kind of bearish for the Swiss and bullish for the dollar. I don't know. I'm reading all kinds of interesting things about the dollar and the inflation spread. And, there's a lot of news out there. There's a lot of question mark about the trillions now. They know that for sure Biden's got the 1.9 with no problem. The Federal Reserve tomorrow has some magical words that they're going to have to use. I think it's, matter of fact, I have a couple of them here today. We can talk about them. Let me just throw that at you. When I talked about it yesterday, about the magical words that they will look for. Let me see. One of them was, let's see, I was reading it. So, let's see. Twist. I think they're waiting for him to say the word twist. They want that because they're concerned. And also the other one is calendar, a scheduled calendar for long rates versus short rates. So they're going to watching the buzzwords of twist and calendar. And money, and when I guess you call them the bond vigilantes, when they hear those words, they'll feel comfortable. And if they don't hear those words, they will feel uncomfortable. So traders, you can pay attention to those two words, twist, and that has something to do with the bond twist, changing the flow of the bond rate, what they're purchasing, not bond rate, but the bonds, versus short term versus long term. And setting it on a schedule, a calendar schedule versus just a interest rate schedule. And so they're the two buzzwords out there. And hang tight, traders. This is crazy world. Where the whole markets are now staring at those two words, twist and schedule. And if they don't hear it from the Fed chair, they will be enormously excited in a negative way. And if they do hear it, then they should be relatively calm. So that is what it is. All right. Now let's jump over to, let's see, let's go to the euro. I think the euro was playing with a sell this morning again. Yeah, now that's doing it. Now the cable had gone into a sell yesterday, and now this is playing with it. It's trying to go into a sell here. Basically what they're thinking is that, or what I'm hearing, is that it'll be a much stronger dollar if you hear those things. And it sounds like we're hearing some stuff about metals. Second half of the year could be a very positive move for the silver and the gold. Where's 44? There you go. There's a 1 month ahead. Where are we at now? March? So that's April. No, I'm giving you like a 5 month ahead on that one, or a 4 month ahead. So basically, August, start to look out for action in those two sectors. Maybe that's why it's so docile. We see it in the metals market. But anyway, that's where we are with the euro. Euro is starting to press down. Let's see how it looks on J4X. euro on the board. There we are. And it's trying to show some strength in there with the Hinky Ashy at the moment. Oh, no. Okay, Hinky Ashy is red. You see this is turning down, trying to go through the zero, the dotted line there. We are already there on the Chicago Quant. Let's just go back to that like that. See right there. And so that's the action we're seeing there. Cable went into the sell yesterday. Boy, I really wish we had an ETF for a short in that. Could have done that. I wanted to do that, but couldn't find an ETF short in it. There's the cable right there. Went into the sell there yesterday, but we're in a weekly buy still, so it was very tough to want to take a trade there, because the only thing that was interesting is the fact that we have the weekly now below the zero line. So, you know, I looked at that yesterday. It was right on the edge, and I thought, well, you know, I can trade it because I have no problem. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. 44 says I don't trade. Okay. Anyway, someone else could have traded it. That's for sure. And let's see. Let's do this. Let's fix that. Did that do that? No. Cancel. Right there. There we are. Okay, yeah. And so there you go. We have the little sell going on there, but we're in a weekly buy. And then today now we are underneath here. So if you're a very fast intraday trader, you can try selling strength and buying the weakness back to cover. BZ, hey, how you doing? Magic word sounds like magic spell. Yeah, really. The I guess you could say that the Fed chair, Jerome, he has this big giant. Was it the watch? Was it a watch or was it a spoon that the psychiatrists used to use? And then they used a couple other things too, like a tuning fork. But I think they use these things for trying to hypnotize people, you know? So I don't know about a magic spell, but I'm thinking of hypnotism when you said that. For some reason, I thought, not magic spell, but hypnotism. You're trying to hypnotize us. Hey, Robin, how you doing? So, yes, twist and schedule. That's the two exciting words for the day. And till tomorrow. And so there we are with the euro. Just kind of, no, I'm sorry, the cable. Moving down with the euro now. All right. What we do is we jump, and if no one has anything they want to see, we'll jump over to the Turkish lira. Where's that at? I guess I'll just do a Control R. There we are. It's a Turkish lira in a daily buy for 2 days now, but it's moving down here, but we're in a weekly buy, so the strength is still there. Let's put that in. And I guess if the dollar is going to be strong and they're all waiting for... oh, good to hear that. I saw that fellow last night on the news, or not on the news, but yesterday afternoon on one of the trading channels where he was standing in the outside on the street in Chicago, and it was coming down light snow. I thought, wow, snow in action. And then what we do is we zip over to Canadian from here. And there's a Canadian still holding up on the downside. And we've been in the sell for a bunch of days there. And you can see we've been in a weekly sell for a bunch of days there. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. Right there. Nope, not there, not there, not that. Right there. There we are. And doing the same thing, lots of weakness. Doing a little bounce, just like we're doing a little bounce on the Chicago Quant chart right there. See it? A little bounce going on right there. It's doing a little bounce right there. See? Matching up. And then lots of red, and lots of red here with the dots. See? Do. All right, now, let's see. We go over to NASCAD from there. NASCAD right there. Been interesting. It's been a daily sell now for what's that? What do we have that on the spreadsheet? 12 on the fact check spreadsheet. 12 days now on a daily sell. This week here it went into the sell, and it's been a confirm all the way down to here. And all we do is get volatility points when it tries to bounce on any level. And then so look for sell strength tomorrow, traders. And that is where we are with the NASCAD. Now, what we do is from here, unless anybody wants to see something in particular, what we'll do is we'll roam over, move away from the currencies for a few minutes, go take a look at the energies, because we follow the energies. And what this is telling us with this going down is that there's pressure on the energies, like crude oil and so forth. And at the same time, with Canadian, kind of sideways here for the last couple of days in closing price, it would figure that would be putting a sideways pressure onto the crude oil. So overall, just sideways down. That's what we're thinking. I know that I did see it earlier, down 30 or 40 cents. It's not exactly exploding on any particular level. And let's take a look at it right there. Yep. Okay, it's trying to go into a sell even. But we're still in that weekly buy, so it's not exactly something we're going to run to. It's just basically telling us that this last long here basically is something to be careful about. Obviously, it barely made any money out of that one, if it made any at all. Let's see, the close was 66.02. The high was 66.19. So you had it made 17 cents, and then slowly fell back down and closed into a buy still, but it was in a weaker state. There was a chance to take a profit if you traded it. And then the next day, nada, buckus even more. And that's a Chicago term, buckus. And then now it's trying to flirt its way into the sell. But again, all inside the weekly buy, so we're not too frustrated there. Serban, how you doing? Where can I find the meaning of your indicator? Is there an intro course for understanding it? Sure. And we can also explain it to you. It's very, very simple. I'll show you where you can find the intro to it. And then I'll explain it to you. It's very simple to understand. And that is right here. You can go to that. The Chicago Quant Technologies website. And you can get it there. And you can see the email address right there. So that gets you where you want to be. Now let's explain it to you. The way we work here is that let's use the crude oil. Would you like to watch it through the crude oil? We can do a discussion on it through that. How's that sound? Or let's say do you have a particular product you like more than another one? If so, we can look through that product and look at the signals. Okay, then let's do that. We'll do crude oil then. But if you do come up across a product that you want to see real quick, just shout it out. We'll jump from crude oil to whatever product it is. This way we're doing two things at once. All right, so what happened was this, and the spreadsheet confirms our work. So what happens is that you can see here on line 5, right there, we are 16 weeks in a buy. That's the buy side of it. If it was in a sell, like corn, which is 2 weeks in a sell, and that's the sell side of it. Or like gold, which was 10 weeks in a sell, or still is right now. All right, so that helps out right there. That's to start off with. Okay, so we've been in a weekly buy since here. Each week, the white histogram must be above the 0 line. Okay? Closes there, that's a second week, third week, fourth week, and so forth. And so in this case here, we've not been in a weekly sell. Our weekly signal has been basically saying that the overall trend is up. Now, there's no doubt things go up and they go down, they go up and they go down, but that's on a daily chart. But the overall weekly trend gets reconfirmed each week. We add another week to it. You want to see gold after this? Sure, AJU. No problem at all. And so then what happens is that on the daily, there's the daily buy. That was not a red dot there when we got it. But in the end result is that there's the daily buy. And so you can take longs, but you can't take shorts because we're in a weekly uptrend. You can only take profits off of the shorts. So in other words, when we go back and look at this from the initial weekly buy, there was your first long. You get a profit out of that, no problem. There's one win. There's a second win. There's a third win. Scroll over. Fourth win. Fifth win. Daylight savings. The webinar now is 8:30 to 9:30.
What's that?
Good morning. Daylight savings. The webinars are now 8:30 to 9:30.
Oh, see you later.
Bye. And so that was what, 5 wins? And then a 6th win right there. And a 7th win barely. Basically depends on how long you're going to hold on to the trade once you get into it. And where your stop is and so forth. And so that's that. Okay, now let's do the same thing for gold for AJU. There's gold. Gold has been in a weekly downtrend since here. So all you can do is take your sells, like this one right here, which basically is a loss overall, on a short term, unless you're trading it a different way with options or something like that. But just the naked hard delta, that was a little loss. Took a couple days before it went down, and if you didn't have the ability to stay with it or stop the right way, then you didn't make any money on that. It was not much instant gratification there. Then this one was the next one, which was instant gratification and made all the money back and then some. And that's usually the way it always works. We usually have an 8.5 for the last 40 years, 40, we have an 8.5 success ratio with this system. So in other words, there's another sell. Oh, no, that's the last sell. There's another sell. And so don't ask me why this is plus now. When we put that sell, when the sell had registered, it was minus. Then the next day it goes into a sell. But in either case, you could be short there, or you could be short here at the same time. There's another win. Now we're back in. Now that's another problem too we've had with gold. Again, they're putting some odd data into this, and we've actually marked it to say stuff like bad data. In other words, we get into a buy signal, and the thing is going up in value, but they move our numbers down. We have no control over that. That's the exchange. That's what they do, and we just have to live and bear with it. In this case here, it's still climbing up on the daily, but the problem is that we can't take longs because why, traders? We're in a weekly sell overall trend. And so that's how that works. Now, how's that? Serban, is that good for you? And AJU, how about that? That worked for you also at the same time? And if you'd like, we can go take a look at silver too. Silver, same situation, weekly sell since here. We had a sell there, which was an instant gratification win. And this was a great win. This was an okay win. There's another good instant gratification win where they really slam it the next day. And that's where we're at the moment. And so you can go to, like I said, you can go there to that website to find out more about our technical analysis. And tune in to Dukascopy every day. We are here discussing the markets, me complaining about crazy things that the central banks are doing or the governments are doing, or I do my webinar more to get my frustration out than anything else, I think, at this point in time. That's how it started too, is I was fed up with the CNBC and the Bloomberg and the news. It was getting worse. In other words, traders on Wall Street weren't keeping the volume up on the TVs anymore. They just left them there for tapes. So in other words, you could see transactions going by, but you weren't really listening to what they had to say because they didn't make any sense anymore. And that's where we are now, is that it's pretty hard to listen to them because they don't make a lot of sense about the marketplace. Let's see. Serban says, what software is in right top window? That is multi-charts. We're using the multi-chart system. And we use also the TradeStation system. But this is a proprietary indicator. So you won't get that indicator by subscribing to them. We have this set up on J4X. what we do is right here. I'm chewing on an apple. I'm sorry about that, people. What we do here is we're using a slow stochastic and a fast slow stochastic and a fast slow stochastic. And this is for strength. We watch the CCI, and so when the slow, oh, and we're using Hinky Ashki to match up to our dots. It's only like a half a day delayed with Hinky Ashki. It's not too bad. So you can get a little of this flavor, the Chicago Quant style, by the two stochastics that line up fairly well. They have a 65% correlation to my math, which is not bad. And the Hinky Ashki is like 72%, and overall, so that pushes up into the high 60s. And that's, you can use this. Oh, sure, that's no problem. And that is a way of emulating what we're doing here off of the Chicago Quant with our proprietary work. Like I said, it's got about a 65 to 70%, I guess you could say, correlation to our maths, which is not bad. If you've missed the webinar and you watch the video, the recording on YouTube, and then you go and you want to look at stuff live and on more short-term basis, and you can go and use this. And here's the parameters right there. See, it is a 5 and a 3 smooth average, and that is the fast stochastic. And then the slow stochastic is 5, 3, and another 3 low, and that's how that works there. So that's why we keep the Dukascopy service up there. It's a really good currency service to start off with. Shows really interesting long-term views, but at the same time, we have a little system. I won the championship, or I know I've been in first. I'm not sure if I ever won a first. I don't think so. I've won some seconds and thirds and fifths and sixths and sevenths on a robot that matches up somewhat to this. It's using the stochastic and it's using the candles. And so that's a good way of doing something when you're not subscribing to Chicago Quant or tuning into Dukascopy and in the mornings and asking about what's going on, that type of thing. All right. Right, from there, does anybody want to see anything particular? If not, we'll just go marching along. We're going to go back into the currencies, but we can stop whatever we're doing and investigate any product that anybody wants to look at. There's no problem there at all, because we like that dynamic of spontaneity. We love that. When you have such a good mathematical structure and direction and experience, we have no problem doing spontaneity, something we've not seen before or something we're not really following, things like that. All right, and you can see here Ruble. Ruble's been in the daily sell for a bunch of days here now, and also a few weeks now, 3 full weeks at this point. Congratulations. Hooray for us. Hooray for me. Hooray for all of us. Congrats. Thank you, AJU. Thank you very much. So there's the ruble, still showing its weakness. And then, I guess we can get rid of that right there. And then, let's see. Let's take a look at, we saw the Turkish lira, so let's look at the Japanese yen. Now there's the yen against the dollar. It's been in a weekly buy for weeks here. And you can see its firmness here. How can we compare oil versus gold? You mean like a pairs trade type of thing? I've been playing around with gold versus platinum, but not on a chart basis, just following the two different charts. So in other words, we've been bearish on the spread. From $1,000, it's down to about 500 now. So, but we can't commingle them and then put our math to it. That would be interesting. We've talked about looking into doing it, but we just haven't done it. Just not geared towards it at the moment. So let's see. Let me go back. Now that you mentioned that, let's go take a look at. I want to see where platinum is this morning. What we'll do is we'll put gold up on Dukascopy right there because they're same price as 1733 basically, and we'll just double check it real quick. But right, where's that? Right there. Yeah, 1731. So it's got about $1 premium. Now it looks almost like $2. All right, now let's take a look at platinum. Like I said, we were bearish, and we've written articles about that. And so there's platinum trading at 1221 minus the 1732 comes out to be 511. So maybe about 511. So spread is hanging around the 511 area. It came down from $1,000. We wrote some articles about it beforehand. We told everybody here we were into that. We were definitely into that. And if 44 is out there, 44, we were projecting that out for like weeks and weeks. So there's one of those projections, but it wasn't based off of the math. It was based off the math, but we were calling it the Yellen spread, Janet Yellen spread, because when she was Fed chair, that the spread had only traded like in the $150, $200 area. So we figured that it was going to come back down again, because we figured that her policies were going to be, kind of reenacted again now that she's the Secretary of Treasury. So, and that's what's happened there. All right. So now let's take a look at. Let's see, where do we go from here? I guess we'll jump back to the currencies unless anybody wants to see anything particular. And we'll look at, let's see what the Zloty is doing. Zloty is a very strong currency. This is the Polish currency against the euro. It's incredibly solid. It goes on. You can see it here, just sideways, going almost nowhere. I mean, it's only like, from the 4.4 area to like the 4.6 area, back and forth, things like that. For months upon months, years even, it's very solid like that. It gets a little up there, but overall, it's a very solid currency, a very good economy. I know that fundamentals don't mean a lot in this QE world, but it's always interesting to see a very solid currency and see it act well. It's nice to see it being respected, I guess you could say. Sir, your indicator shows bought in gold. Bought in gold. Let's go back to that. Oh, right now you mean? Yeah. You mean on the J4X? Yes. It's saying that the gold wants to go up. It definitely does. And then on our Chicago quant, it's saying our Chicago quant's way more sensitive. So it makes it a little challenging at times. Let's see, right there. And so we've been in a buy since this line, basically the same time. Unfortunately, the exchanges have been moving data around a little bit in this product in particular. And so we get some different feeds. That's why we have a sign up there that says bad data in buy. So, it's like paint dry, that type of thing. And you can see it on the spreadsheet too, right there. 5 weeks in a buy. 10 weeks in a sell, 5 days in a buy. Problem is that you can't really be long it. The idea is not to be short it at this point because we are in this weekly sell. As long as we're in that weekly sell, we won't take the longs. I mean, I'll take them in binaries, trading binaries or options because I have a limited risk factor there. But if you're just trading gold outright, it makes it much more of a challenge. And we basically say, hey, don't follow just the daily. You got to follow both of them. This way you can have a much more solid trend. Does that make sense to you, AJU? A Jew. Excellent there, I hope. All right. And so, let's see, where do we go from here? See, I was playing with the currencies. I'll go back to the currencies until someone asks to see something else. And like I said, I have no problem spontaneously shifting gears and going to the next product. None whatsoever. And so now, let's see. So we looked at the Zloty. What else we got in here we want to look at? Let's look at peso. It's been very firm of late. You can see here we're in a weekly buy, and you can see, that was one good buy. There was a second good buy, and actually, it was since it was in a weekly buy from here, you could try to trade this stuff a little bit too. But it's been definitely strong. It's a much more trending product. You can see a lot of times it gets into good trends. Excellent. All right, now where are we at? That's peso against the dollar. Let's check out. Let's see. Aussie CAD. See what the Aussie CAD's doing. Went into a weekly sell. I can see right here. When we put that in, we haven't looked at Aussie CAD in so long. And then did break down a little bit, so there was a winner there, but it was in a daily sell for, see that. Yeah, it's been in a daily sell since right here. And it couldn't go into a buy here because it was a red-green dot. And then it went back into the buy here, but we're in a sell, so you can't take that. So we put that in there. This is that spontaneity that I get a kick out of. And then we're going back into the sell again 2 days ago. And again, it's the winner, winner, chicken dinner. Save that just in case we end up looking at it again. Let's see. Traders, if you have anything you would like to look at, just give a yell. We'll go look at it. If not, I'm just going to roam around, try to give you an overall view of whatever I see. But I'm not that brilliant, so, it's more fun to let the math show you in a product that you're interested in what it's doing, instead of me just roaming around. I mean, I can come up with the twist and the calendar schedule, what the buzzwords are, but I mean overall that's not hard to do. GBP JBY, let's take a look at that. That's a nice consistent thing. Oh, look at that, playing with a sell today, but we're in a weekly buy here. I mean, every buy has been a win. This is like 9 out of 9 or something like that. This one, since it went into the buy. You can see this one has lots of long distances between all its trades, which is really cool. Bitcoin, okay. Let's see. There's the futures contract. We went into a sell yesterday. You can see that on this fact check spreadsheet. Line 28, we'll highlight it there for you. So we're 7 weeks in a buy. And 1 day in a sell. Looks like it's bouncing back already. I don't take the sells too serious in that product. I always think, okay, just take a profit at that point. And then don't go short, because you don't know. The thing could go down $3,000, and the next thing you know, it's up $2,000. So let's see. U.S. dollar looking stronger. Yeah, there's a lot of concern that the dollar is going to be much stronger over the next 6 months or so. That's definitely going to be, a factor, because if they get that, if they get what they want, then they're going to be using a lot of dollars, and maybe the second half of the year the dollar will be weaker and gold will be stronger, that type of thing. That's why we're thinking that we'll see the strength in the dollar now, and then when they go and try to pass another $2 trillion budget or stimulus, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So it's got to be 6 months out. So that's why we're thinking that metals will start to kick up in the third and fourth quarters, because they'll start to anticipate all that borrowing, and that's going to definitely shake things. It's one thing to do the borrowing they've done, and this last one is really abusive. We'd been better off if they had done done it in two parts, done say $1 trillion, and then tried to go for another $1 trillion in November or December, and they would have had a little bit more support. But they just rammed through a 1.9. I'm not so sure they're going to have that much success to do it again. We'll see. It's just a matter of time. Ooh, okay. Let's check it out. Oh. How about if we call you Oh, since it's there's two O's there for the name. Let's check out the Euro against the New Zealand. Double O. Let's see, Euro against New Zealand. There's Euro against Zloty. Euro against GBP. Euro against Swiss. Thought we had it in here at one point or another, but we'll go find one. Let's see, who should we convert? There's AUD. Why don't we do AUD? Let's convert AUD. Right there. I love the spontaneity. Right there. All right. So the sell, see it's in a weekly sell. You can see that. Let's just move that over a little bit, and we'll put those in. Let's see. That's a super 5. So let's see, 3-5. So plot 1 has to be minus, and plot 6. Plot 6 is minus. Let's just double check it. Style. No, we're just running. We're not running that. Okay, so that's we're just running out of 3. All right, so it goes into the cell here. Looks like it was in a cell for a while. So it goes into the cell here or there. Goes into the cell there. You can see at one point someone asked about it, I think. Oh no, this is probably the Aussie anyway. And so then we went into a cell here, and we can move this down, move that down, and no doubt there's a buy around here. I think that's it. Went into a buy there, but you can't take it, and then it goes right back into a sell again. And then it goes into a buy there and goes right back into a sell again. And then it goes into a buy there. And it goes into a sell here. So the wins, there's been 3 nice wins with the weekly sell. Then, let's move it over. It's a little choppy. And we get into a buy there. And then it goes back into a sell here. Or is it there? I think it's there. Yep, right there. And that's a winner over time, if nothing else. But if you're just shooting for fast, 15, 20 pips, it's a tough trade. Because, I mean, it closes at 29, 71.29. And the low is 71.21. Well, there's 8 pips in there. And if you hold on to it, obviously it's a good trade. It all comes down to the individual trader's abilities. That's why it's very hard to give an opinion more than just telling you where the trend is. Goes into a buy there, but we're in a weekly sell again. So no reason to take the buy too serious. And then it goes into a buy there. And goes back into the sell here. And then it goes into a buy here. Goes back into a sell there. And that was a winner, because you can see it closed at 68.86 and traded as high as 68.92. Not much of a win, 6 pips. And then, let's see, where are we at here? And if you're holding on to it, then obviously you got that 69.51 after buying it 2 days back. Then, let's see, that's the sell there. Then we go into a buy here. That's the buy there. Want to hear if it's chinny chin chin. And then what we do is we go into a sell here. And since we're in a weekly sell, you can take that. And it's a winner-winner chicken dinner because you can see the break the next day is pretty good. A settlement of 67.75, and the low is 67.15, so 60 points. And still stays in a sell if you're riding it with options or something like that, or a good stop or whatever. Then you really have a win out of it. And then it goes back into a buy here. But no, I mean, it's just sideways action. And now you've been in a sell here, which is a winner. And then it finds a way into a buy right here. It's been holding on to the buy, but today it's playing with its sell at the moment. Euro NZD, sure. I think we have that one in there. Euro NZD. There it is right there. No, that's what we're looking at. Euro NZD. I'm sorry. I looked over to the tape and saw that. Okay, so there it is. And you can see it's flirting with a sell here now. If it closes there tonight, it's in our official sell on the line. So, all right, how's that? That's that spontaneity that Doc likes. I like that spontaneity. I like the idea of someone asking for something that we're not following, and then we can go and show you live how the math does it. It's a good way of looking at things as I take a sip of water. All right, let's see, where are we? If I'll wait for someone to jump on the chat line and give us another direction. While I'm waiting, I'll go take a look at, where did we leave off? Let's take a look at the, we looked at the metals, right? Yeah. And we looked at the energies. And so let's take a look at the stock indices. And we've got the NASDAQ 100 in a daily buy from yesterday. It's over its weekly buy almost. It needs the green line to get up there through altogether, so it's not exactly the best buy at the moment. And then, which is kind of fascinating, is here's the S&P 500, and it's flirting with its weekly sell. But it's in a daily buy, so it's all right so far. It's just flirting with it. It hasn't broken it yet. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's starting to break it today. We'll see. But, so it's been in a buy for a couple of days here for the move. Let's see, Doc, the Forex chart is... Oh, I'm sorry. There we are. Yeah, see, it's playing with the weekly sell. Yeah. So, thank you for pointing that out. Sometimes I forget that. I don't look on... We got so many screens in front of us. And that's over on my left there, looking at that screen. So, that's where we're at. When it comes to the stock indices. Oh, we'll take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It was showing some weakness today, which was kind of curious. But, I guess it's climbed back up again. And so there it is there, showing some life in it. And we've been at a daily buy in this thing for 7 days. And a weekly buy for 3 full weeks, catching this whole move up in here. What else is there? What other product can we go after? Let's see. What have I not looked at lately? How about the Russell? Let's look at the Russell 2000. You can see here it's been a daily buy for 4 days and 1 week now. seems to have plateaued and at all-time highs now too. That's all-time highs in that product. What else is hanging around here? There's Robo Gas for the automobiles. You can see it's putting some pressure on it today. Let's see. The screen is on the foreground. Screen is on the foreground. Which screen is that, AJ? You? Oh, you mean the before? I guess you must be lagging even further behind. Okay. You can see it now, right? But there's the RoboGaz. We'll see how that plays itself for a while. They've been buying that. You can see the buys. It's been in a long buy, way back here in early December. And there was a daily buy that went on for like almost 2 months. Didn't even go into a sell. Just stayed in a buy. And then we got a little sell signal for a day or two. And then we went right back into the buy again, another win. And then we went into sell here. Went into a buy here. Nice win again. This thing's been really stretching out. There must be some real nervousness of inventory for the gas oil. All right. Who else in here should we look at? Oh, 30-year bond. Let's see what that's doing. You can see it's flirting with going into a buy, but it's not there yet. And at the same time, though, we are in a weekly sell, so you don't only want to take the sells, not the buys. And this one here was a loser. And that one was a nice winner. A lot of these products stretch their system out, which is nice. In other words, their trend. They stretch out their trend, and then what you see is this slow consistency, which is really nice because that's what you want. Is you want that slow consistency where you're not getting pushed in and out, in and out. You want to get in, be long, and then head for something else, and then get another buy signal and get long again. And that's usually the way it works. All right. Where else should we roll to? Let's see. No one's asking for grains today. Boy, I'll tell you, there's a bull market in the grains. Like the soybeans, wheat, and corn and so forth. That thing is just running so solid. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water again. That has been a very fascinating sector. That's part of that commodity melt up that's been going on. We're not obviously seeing it in gold, excuse me, or silver, but we are seeing it in other commodities like the wheats and the meats and so forth. The grains, they're really doing extremely well. Let's see. What else can we talk about here? If not, we'll go into that sector and take a peek at that for a little while. Let's see. There we go. All right. Let's go over to the grains. Let's see. Let's open them up. File open. Robin 2. Hey, Andy. How you doing? All right. That's hogs. There is soybeans. Soybeans are in a weekly buy, went into a daily buy, and they're lifting them higher at some point today. They did. Now they're backing them off to a little underneath the yesterday's close, and you can see it's weakening here. Now let's take a look at corn. Corn, same way, except for the fact that it's not in a weekly buy. It's just doing it right over the last 12 hours or so. There we are. And then there's wheat. Wheat is in a weekly sell and in a daily sell. So we're not getting, we're not cool. Anything interesting, Andy? Do you see anything you'd like to see? And so then this is one that's been really fascinating, is this bean oil does not go down. You can see it. They do this kind of selling thing sometimes in the early part of the day, and then the next thing you know is we're back in the saddle again, and the thing closes at like a high. It's really amazing. It's a very, very, very positive product. I guess it's a combination of energy and commodity. In other words, you can burn it, and then you can use it for foodstuffs, for food staple. So, we're seeing that type of action there with the soybean oil, and they'll put it in a machine to run it like a fuel, and the next thing you know, they can also put it in food for like a filler or some type of platform. All right, now let's see what else is in there. Red wheat, that's been interesting. Weekly sell from here, the daily sell from here, and closed in a weekly sell and went into a daily buy the next day. So you got squeezed there. You lost that much in there, and then goes into a daily sell, and you got all that room to try to make money back. And as a matter of fact, what was interesting is it wasn't able to get into the buy the day it popped there because of the two dots. So it's still gliding down. Oh, that's no problem. This gets a lot of my frustration out. It's very hard as someone who's been, a trader, market letter writer, and a member of every major exchange, to sit and listen to people on these financial shows make no sense. And so it's really disappointing. So that was my objective when I went to Top Step and Dukascopy, was to be able to get my opinion out about the marketplace, because I did not like the way the financial markets were being utilized as like some type of spin machine. And so then Dukascopy won me out more than anything else. Top Step, like, they liked me, and then they didn't know what to do with me, and so I just ended up just at Dukascopy, and I get a chance to put out my opinion of the marketplace every day, because believe me, they say a lot of strange things that are just not true in financial markets, and usually we're right and most of the time they're wrong, but that doesn't mean anything in those channels anymore. Being right and wrong doesn't mean a thing, because they don't put a fact check spreadsheet up on the screen like I do. I mean, you got right here on the left here, the Excel spreadsheet. I'm highlighting it right now. They don't put that up there. They don't say, oh, by the way, this guy was, bearish for like the last 6 months and the market has gone to all-time highs. No, they let him say whatever he wants to say again, and they don't say anything to him about it. Like, why should we trust you now to be long or be short? Ray Dalio from Bridgewater was on there. He was beating the drum for, I don't know, it was like for 6 months. Be a bear, don't be long, be a bear. That was in 2019. And he was a perfect example of what I'm complaining about. One of the largest hedge funds in the world. And Dalio, who's kind of a little wacky, turns around, is telling everybody not to be long. The markets get the COVID bug, in other words, February, March last year in 2020, they get the bug. Market collapses dramatically. He loses money. It's like, how do you lose money when you've been telling people for over almost 7 months, 8 months, I don't know, even a year, I guess it might have been, to be bearish or, lighten up and be hedged or be short, How do you lose money when you're a fund manager? Now, I had a friend. She was. I don't want to say what she was now inside the company, but anyway, she was really up there. In other words, she dealt with them every day, and she was getting some good money for it too, like $6-7 million a year in pay, and you know, after about 10 years, she left them. She left the company, and she said, "I just can't take listening to this craziness every day." And I've put enough money together. When you're getting paid $6-7 million a year, you can easily put a nice nest egg together. And so she just walked away from them after about $70 million. So he's a strange bug, but that goes on throughout, like CNBC and Bloomberg. They have people out there saying things, and they're never ever challenged. Whereas here we have me talking, and we've got my fact check spreadsheet right there on the screen live. We ask for people to do spontaneous products for us to show you how our work is, the rate of success, But you don't get that on the major networks anymore. And when I had my office in Manhattan, it was the same way. We were starting to get to the point where we used to say, it's only worth watching from 8 in the morning to 9, and then just turn the volume down and just let them talk, and you don't have to hear it. You can use it as a news tape, and watch prices go by for free, basically, dirt cheap TV. And so that's what the problem is that I need an outlet. I need to go somewhere to be able to voice my frustration of what I see sometimes. I mean, how many people are out there telling you what the buzzwords are going to be? I guarantee you, they're the buzzwords. I mean, I still have connections on Wall Street. And I know where to look for this information. I know what the insiders or the professionals are looking for. They're actually looking for specific words out of Jerome Powell's mouth tomorrow. I mean, it's the strangest thing, Thanks for your perspective, much appreciated. Yeah, I enjoy it, Andy. Trust me, as much as it looks like a favor to you, it's more of a pleasure to me. I've had listening to these crazies for like ever since quantitative easing. It's just gotten so bad that you can't get news anymore out of news. They're just literally spinning things for a specific reason for their corporation. We used to call it talking your book. In other words, you're basically talking your trades. Let's say you're long euros, and you run around to all kinds of different websites and keep on saying, "Wow, euros really made a major bottom. It's going to go to the moon," and you keep on saying that in other places because you're talking your book. You're long euros, and you're trying to project that image that that's the place to be. So, all right, traders, we're going to cut out now. It's been fun. We will see you tomorrow. It's Happy to Hump Day, Wednesday. We will be here same time, same channel. So this is Doc from North America, the singing trader, saying arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our cyber trading friends. So ta-ta for now, traders.